many brought your Bible with you? Cool. How about brought something that has a Bible on it? How many have ever heard of a Bible? Okay, that's great. Cool. If you have that, turn with me. We're going to continue on our series, or What Did He Say? And we're going through there. And so if you've missed the last couple weeks, then you kind of know where we're at. But we're gonna get there, and you guys will just have to catch up. And the last couple of weeks talked about just some of the things that Jesus said that we thought he said one thing, but he said something else. Right. Have you ever heard God speak and he said something and you thought it meant something else because you were looking for an answer for that, and God's like giving you an answer for this?
Amen.
Okay, yes. Nobody but me. Great. This is going to be fun today. Okay, hallelujah. We're talking about Lazarus for a little bit. If you have your Bible, it's in the book of John. Started about the 11th chapter, I think it is. I didn't just write down a bunch of scriptures for you. You guys can handle it. You're big people. You guys can handle it. But I want to talk about Lazarus. So I had them sing the song that I wanted them to sing, the Dry Bones song, and I love the line in that song that he's still showing up at the tomb of every Lazarus.
Amen. Yes.
I like that.
Amen.
You're still showing up at the tomb of every Lazarus. What does that mean? He's bringing life to death at all times. Amen. And so we're going to talk about that for a little bit, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions at the end of this, and I want you to think about it. I don't want you to answer me, but I just want you to think a little bit. I want to get it in your spirit. I want you to think about some things. I was talking to Tyler Holt. I'm recording this. Anyway, I was talking to Tyler the other day, and we were having lunch, and he's the associate pastor at Life Church in Shawnee. He was actually our first youth pastor here when I was the pastor. And so Tyler and I have been close for a long time. And we're sitting at lunch, and he said, I just got a message. We're not gonna have anybody in our church. We're gonna have to live stream everything because of the coronavirus. And I was like, what? He said, that's what they're saying. We may have to look into that. So at Life Churches today, there's nobody on campus except for the workers. And like at Elevation, there's nobody on campus, and everything's live streamed because there's too many people. And so but what scares me is that they can just say you can't congregate as a church.
Right. And people go for it.
That's scary to me. That's scary. What's more scary to me than it is? You can't tell me who I can congregate with.
Absolutely. Praise God. Yes.
Amen. Maybe I'm just hard-headed and just crazy. But I thought I lived in the United States of America, and I could congregate who I want, whether that's wise or not.
Praise God.
I don't know if that's wise. I can make a dumb decision. I have that right, to make a dumb decision. And so when he told me that, my first thing in my mind clicked was, who told you?
Right.
With the CDC in the state of Oklahoma. There's too many people that attend church. I think it's in Tulsa it's 250 people. But you can't have over 250 people. I don't know what it is here. I think we're safe. I don't think we quite hit the 250 people mark today. But anyway, to me, it's more scary that everybody has just given up every right they have.
That's right.
Yes.
In a matter of a week.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't. And we've shut down everything. I mean, it's like if you could breathe with somebody else has breathed the air, we have to shut it down. And guys, can we just calm down?
Amen. Yes.
How many are here that lived through SARS? Wow. Okay. How about the avian flu? Did you live through that? Did you live through the swine flu? Did you live through the whatever the other stuff was being done?
Yes.
Wow. I think we're going to be okay. Calm down. Yes, there's going to be some people get sick and die, and I hate that. I do. But every year people die of the flu, and we don't care.
Amen.
Not that we don't care, but it's just that we don't go buy a bunch of toilet paper. Okay? It's just crazy. I'm just asking you to calm down a little bit. I want you to use your brain a little bit. Think about it a little bit.
Yes.
Just hang on with me, okay? So that's my public service announcement for the day. Okay? All right. Yes, we will have church tonight, by the way. Okay? We're having church tonight. So just so you know, at 6 o'clock we'll be here. I just want to talk to you just a little bit about what Jesus said about Lazarus. And if you have your Bible, we're going to talk to, we're going to go to chapter 11, verse 11. There it goes. These things said he, and after that he said this, he said that our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may wake him out of sleep. And then go to the next verse, because the disciples were like, cool. So then he must be getting better. And he said to the disciples, Lord, if you sleep, well, he'll do well. He must be getting better. Verse 13. Howbeit Jesus spake of his death, but they thought he was spoken of taking a rest and sleep. Verse 14. Then Jesus said unto them plainly, bless your little hearts. Lazarus is dead. Jesus had to talk to the disciples plainly sometimes, and he had to say, bless your little hearts, bless your little pea-picking hearts. Jesus is dead. So let me just share a little bit with you for just a second. Go back to verse 11, and this is what he says. Jesus said he's sleeping. Jesus said, did I mess up something?
Jesus is not dead.
Jesus isn't dead. Oh, Lazarus is dead. I'm sorry. Jesus didn't. Okay, Jesus is alive. You're not the wrong church. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Lazarus is dead. All right. So Lazarus. Sorry about that. Holy cow. All right. These things he said, and after that he said to them, our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go to awake him out of his sleep. So let me just share something with you. Jesus doesn't see things the way we see things. And he told his disciples, listen, he's sleeping. I have to go wake him up. But we're going to wait a couple of days. Because if you'll read in the earlier part of chapter 11, that Mary and Martha sent people to Jesus, sent people to Jesus to come get him and say, hey, listen, the one you love is dying, and I need you to come because if you don't show up, he's going to die. And Jesus, knowing this, still stopped for 2 days to let him die.
Yep. Yes.
That doesn't sound very nice, does it? Mean Jesus, hashtag that, mean Jesus. He let my friend die. Okay, so we're going to put that on Twitter that Jesus is mean. Evidently he's dead. And so, we're going to type that out. Hashtag mean Jesus because Jesus allowed Lazarus to die. He could have, I think it's 2 miles is what the distance he was. Everything I could find, like 2 miles from there. And so he just allowed this thing to take its course. And he allowed it to happen for what reason? Because he said, God's going to be glorified and the Son of God's going to be glorified through this. Because he's not dead, he's just sleeping. So when Lazarus was dying, this is what happens. So we have fear. Yeah. Now what? Lazarus is dying, so what do? So the sisters are now fearful because their brother is dying. And they know that Jesus is not far off. If we'll just send word, I know Jesus will drop everything that he's doing and he'll come find our problem and fix our problem, right? And he'll come show up right when we need him to show up. But the thing is, and the song says, he's showing up at every tomb of every Lazarus. You don't need a tomb unless somebody's dead.
Amen.
Help me a minute. You don't need a grave unless something in your life appears to be dead. You don't need a grave unless something in your life has happened that all of a sudden now what you thought was going to happen didn't happen, and you now have a graveside service. Everything is done according to what tradition says, but Jesus breaks tradition when he shows up. Come on, help me a minute.
Amen.
Fear. They say, what do I do now? How do we go on from here? How do we get past this? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever said, what now?
Yes.
God, I thought it was going to be this way. What now? God, I thought you were going to immediately take care of this problem because I said, God, right now as I prayed, and you said, wait 2 days. Right. Come on. But God, you said that you hear my prayers. It doesn't say that he doesn't respond to your prayer. It doesn't say he doesn't hear. Maybe he may not just tell you exactly what to do, immediately respond, but he does hear. Right. Come on, somebody. Okay, you want to listen? There we listen. Let's go to 11:1. Now, a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, in the town of Mary and her sister Martha. Verse 2. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair. Remember that story, the alabaster box?
Right. Amen. Yeah.
Do you remember the alabaster box? She broke the alabaster box? Yes. That's the same Mary, Lazarus' sister. Right. Yeah. Come on, somebody, get with me. Come on. That same Mary who broke the alabaster box and washed his feet with the perfume and dried his feet off with her hair.
Yes.
That's the same Mary. I'm telling you, you want to make an impression? That made an impression. Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. Thinking that will move him.
Yes.
Jesus, the one you love, is sick. The one you, parentheses, the one you love, parentheses, that guy is sick and he's dying. We need you now. So many times we, as Christians, we say this, well, God, but I preach it, I've said it 100 times, I'll probably say it 100 more. I'm God's favorite, but so are you.
Amen.
Okay, God, if I'm your favorite, I'm the one thou lovest. Take care of this situation now. And God has a different timing, and Jesus has a different timing than we have for a reason. We don't know the reason, and at the time it doesn't look like it makes any sense, but when we get done with it, it's going to make sense. When we walk finally through the situation, we finally get to the end of it, we finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we walk out of the tunnel, now it makes sense, and now we go, oh, I get it, and God is glorified through it. But while you're walking through it, you sure don't feel any glory, and you sure don't want to glorify God for it. We rebuked death, and Jesus welcomed it. Come on, help me a minute. Come on, help me a minute. Okay, listen. So fear says this. Now what do I do? What do I do now? How do we go from here? Where do I go from here? I don't know what to do. My brother is dying. I've already asked Jesus. They got word to him. He heard my prayer. He heard my request. And they said he stayed for 2 days. Doesn't he realize that I need him right this second? Come on, y'all better get with me. Have you ever prayed a prayer and you wanted it done right that second? Don't lie and say no.
Yes.
Don't lie and say no, because I know you have.
Yes.
God don't let him give me a ticket. God don't let him give me a ticket. As you drove 85 through 55. And you didn't see him behind the sign, and you were like, or that person, or those people like Donald used to have that. Used to look like a police car.
Brother, this morning.
There you go. Looks like a police car, and Donald, and you're like, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, oh Jesus! I'll stop cussing right now, Jesus. I'll stop cussing. I won't do anything. And it's a mom with kids in the back seat with tacos. You're like, wait your car! Okay, and so because it scares you, because you know you're doing something wrong, and you do that immediate prayer, right? Immediate prayer. And sometimes God answers it, and it's just Donald's old car, and sometimes it's like pull over there. And so anyway. But here's the fear. The fear part is, what do I do now? Here's the faith part. They know Jesus can heal him.
Yes.
They know it. There's no doubt in their mind that Jesus can heal. If I can just get word to Jesus, Lazarus will be okay. They had no doubt that if I could get word to Jesus, Jesus loves Lazarus, Jesus loves us. Man, I gave a year's worth of money and poured out that anointing oil on his feet and dried him with my hair. I gave to his ministry a year's worth of salary. Surely he'll come answer my prayer. That's Mary's prayer.
Come on.
Lazarus, the one you love, is dying. Oh, he's your favorite. You love him. John's like, hey, that's my job. He loves me. But Lazarus, he was special. He was Jesus' buddy, Jesus' friend. And he's dying. And I know if I could just get word to him, my faith says that Jesus can heal him.
Amen. Yes.
So somebody go sin for Jesus. The one that he loves is dying. If Jesus can get here, all will be fine. Have you ever prayed those prayers?
Amen. Yes.
Come on.
Father, hear me. Father, hear me. God, please. Has anybody gone and watched I Still Believe?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to need toilet paper and tissues.
Amen.
It is incredible. I hate it. It made me cry. And so, it's the story of Jeremy Camp. And some of you don't know who Jeremy Camp is, but he's a singer. And he's a Christian singer. It is a wonderful movie. Go watch it. Go watch it. It is, I still believe it. It's not a sequel to anything. It's just, he has a song called I Still Believe. And okay, anyway. Jesus can heal him, but it's such a wonderful movie. Jesus, if I'll send for him, he loves me and he'll come take care of me. If Jesus can get here, all will be fine. But here's the fight between the faith and the fear. Lazarus is dying. I know I told Jesus. I know he recognized the voice. I know he acknowledged that he heard what I said. Are you with me?
Yes.
I know that he acknowledged me. I know he heard my prayer. I know that there's no doubt in my mind that Jesus is coming to take care of this situation. That's the fight between the fear and the faith. What I see is my brother's dying. What I believe is my brother's well. So how do I fight what I see with what I believe? Come on. How do I do that? Jesus, what did you say? You said he's asleep, but he's dying. What? What? The fight. Lazarus is asleep. Lazarus is now dead. They're believing that Jesus will show up and heal their brother. They're believing, but they're not seeing what they're believing for.
Amen.
Y'all got to get your big boy caps on. Let's go. I'm not bringing the flannel graph out today with the cutouts of Jesus. You got let's go. They're not seeing what they're believing for. They're not seeing their brother healed. They're seeing their brother get worse and worse and worse. They're believing that Jesus is about to come at any time and come take care of this situation. But what they're seeing is my brother's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. They are believing, but what are they seeing? He's getting weaker, but I'm still believing. He doesn't look very good, but I'm still believing. This sickness, Jesus said, is not unto death, but he's dying. What did he say? This sickness is not unto death. This is what verse 4 says. When Jesus heard what they said, he said, this sickness is not unto death, but is for the glory of God. God, how are you getting glory out of my suffering?
Amen. Yes.
How are you getting glory from me crying over my brother? How are you getting glory over me suffering for this? How are you getting any kind of glory, God, out of me having to struggle trying to make funeral arrangements even though I'm believing that you're going to heal my brother? How am I supposed to give you glory for that?
Yes.
No one's ever had that struggle,
Yes.
right?
Oh yes. Yes.
But this sickness is not unto death, but he's dying. This is for the glory of God, but he's not breathing now. How is this for the glory of God? Listen, Jesus, I don't need you for him to die. He can die without you.
Come on.
Praise God.
Help me now. Jesus, I didn't call for you so he could just die. I didn't have to bother you and he could have died. Anybody ever pray for anything? Any prayers that never seemed like they got answered?
Amen. Yes.
I didn't call you for this.
Right.
I didn't ring the bell for no reason.
Right.
Yes, Jesus.
Somebody help me.
Thank you, God.
Shall we move on? This sickness is not unto death, what Jesus says, and that the Son of Man might be glorified. Jesus, how are you getting glorified through my tragedy?
Right.
How is this happening? I can feel the conflict in these ladies. They know Jesus personally. They know him not intimately as sexually intimately, but they know him. They've sat with him. They've been in his presence. They know his likes. They've heard his laugh. They've made him laugh. Martha goes on. Martha has served and served and served him, and Mary sat at his feet, and they know Jesus intimately. They know him, and still yet their brother, who's the person, his friend that he loved so much that when they took him to his graveside, Jesus wept. Come on, somebody. That is knowing somebody. That's knowing a family. He is intimately involved with this family, and still yet Lazarus takes his last breath on this earth, seemingly, and he took his last breath on this earth, and his sisters are sitting there going, what in the world?
Right. Yeah, come on.
Where is this dude at?
Right. Come on.
He's known he was dying. Where is Jesus at?
Yes.
Why didn't Jesus come? Why is he not here when I need him? Can somebody help me with that? Why is he not here while I'm crying? Why is he not here while I'm in my lowest moment that I've been? Why is he not here? Why does Jesus not care? Hashtag mean Jesus again. He doesn't care that I'm crying. Why is it he doesn't care about what's going on in my life? Why? I don't know. Nobody ever had these questions before? Why does he not care that I'm hurting? And Jesus says this, Lazarus is asleep. And he says, I have to go wake him. And the disciples were, oh, good. Things are looking up. He's sleeping. He'll feel better if he gets a good night's rest. And Jesus is like, okay, boys, here's the deal. The boy's dead. I just have to tell you, the boy's dead. And the disciples, can you hear it in their voice? Huh? What did he just say?
Right.
I thought he said he was asleep. And Peter had, he's dead. Didn't y'all know that? Okay, and so, Pete's the guy. Okay, listen. We believe that Jesus can heal Lazarus.
Amen.
I believe that. They believed it. They said this, we are watching for him being taken, as they're going to take him from the house dead. They're still looking for Jesus. Look at me. Look at my nose. As they're taking this dead body out of the house to prepare it for burial, the girls are still looking for Jesus to come.
Amen. Yes. Yes.
Because their faith is in conflict with their sight.
Right.
We're watching him. As they're watching him being taken out of the house, we are watching them prepare his body for burial. They are wrapping him up in grave clothes. But they are still believing for a miracle.
Amen. Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
I'll prove it to you in a minute.
Yes.
I'll prove it to you in a minute. I can see somebody like, no, they accepted it. No, they didn't accept it yet.
No.
They have not accepted the death yet.
Nope.
Listen, they watched as they placed the stone on the door of the tomb.
Right. Come on. Come on.
What our eyes show us,
Right.
what our experience tells us,
Right.
our life lesson teaches us, what our common sense makes us to believe is that Jesus didn't heal Lazarus. That's what our eyes tell us. That's what our eyes show us.
Right.
He didn't get healed.
Right.
Then we make these wonderful comments that are true. Well, he's healed in heaven. I wanted him here.
Right.
We make those wonderful comments that makes everybody feel better. Well, now they're healed in heaven. That's great, and I'm not disputing that at all. But sometimes, don't you want to see somebody healed here?
Amen. Yes. Thank you, Jesus. Yes.
Aren't you ready to see
Yes.
somebody
Praise
get
God.
up?
Yes.
Aren't you
Hallelujah.
ready to somebody to just actually,
Oh, yes, God. Yes, God.
well, they were sick, and all of a sudden now they're healed.
Right.
Well, I want to see that.
Yes. Amen.
If Jesus says it, and we can do those things,
Right.
I think sometimes we let our eyes determine what we believe.
Right.
Amen.
Is
Yes.
that okay?
That's right.
Sometimes we let our experiences, we are so used to it not happening,
Right.
our experience shows us it's not going to happen, so then we expect it not to happen.
Always believe.
Instead of expecting for God to do what he says he will do, we expect God to do not what he said he would do.
Right.
We're surprised when God does what he does. I just want to give you a little lesson here. How many remember the story of Paul preaching so long that the dude fell asleep in the window?
Amen.
Anybody remember that
Yes.
story?
Yes.
Now, I preach a long time, but I don't preach that long. And hopefully I'm not so boring that you fall asleep in the window. Okay? Dude fell out of the window, broke his neck, died. Okay? During the church service, Paul, not skipping a beat, goes, heals the dude, raises him up from the dead, keeps preaching.
Amen.
Now you know you're bad when you cannot lose your train of thought. That's a bad dude right there, man. Okay, when you can just not lose your train of thought after you've raised somebody from the dead, so don't fall out the window again. Okay, and so, and that's a bad dude right there, man. I mean, you talk about somebody who can preach, that's Paul. Yeah. He's throwing some stuff down. I'm just saying. I would write charisma if that happened. I mean, church dismissed. I got to write, take pictures, selfies. Okay. He raised from the dead. Hashtag raised. Okay, so whatever. And so, but here's Jesus, who's delayed and is coming on purpose.
Amen. Yes.
Man, I have a hard time with that. Because in verse 6 it says verse 5 it says, now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. It doesn't say he despised them. It says that he loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. But here's what he says in verse 6. And when he heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. You mean he didn't get up immediately and run? There's times he did that. But this is for the glory of God. I saw, this is what the guys are saying. Jesus came into the city. And when he came into the city, he was 4 days too late. What do you mean it's 4 days too late? In John 11:17 it says he'd already been in there 4 days in the tomb. He'd been in there 4 days. And so, because I think it was Martha said, he's been there 4 days. He stinks. We're not messing with him anymore. It's too late now. And verse 17 says, and when Jesus came, he found that he who laid in the grave for 4 days already. That's a long time. Now, get your mindset. Okay, here we go. I'm almost done. I promise you, I'm almost done. Listen. Get your mind wrapped around what they're seeing. They're seeing Jesus stay and delay. And they're seeing their brother gasp his last gasp. They're seeing them take him out of the house dead. They're seeing him wrapped up in grave clothes. And I don't know if they embalmed him or what they did to him. But anyway, they prepared him for burial. They saw him. They were at the funeral where they stuck him in the cave. They were the last ones to see the stone slammed on the cave door. And everything looked like, and their experience showed them that he was not going to come out of that cave.
Amen. Yes.
But they're believing that Jesus is still coming to take care of the situation. So you have a faith and fear fight. Okay? With me?
Yes.
It's hard to believe when everything tells you this is what it's going to be. When everything your senses tell you, everything that's going on in your life, everything tells you it's going to be this way, it's hard to believe, no, God said this in my life. Amen. It's hard to stand on what God said when you see something totally opposite. Is anybody with me on that?
Amen. Yes.
I'll give you an example. I was praying through this church yesterday. I said, God, why do you have me here? I don't understand it.
Come on, bro.
Why me? Why have you forgiven me? And why have you called me here? For the life of me, Jim, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get how I can be in the office and say, okay, God, what do you want to have? What do you want to speak to your people? And God just gives me stuff, and I have to write it down so fast. And I say, slow down, because I know y'all don't use pencils there, but I do. Okay? And so slow down. And I'll get like a whole message series in about 15 minutes after I've prayed for a little bit. This is what God spoke to me the other day. And I'll just tell you, I'm just going to throw this at you. He said, you try to do this without prayer, and it's not going to work without prayer.
Amen. Yes.
And I'm like,
thank you, Jesus.
I don't have time.
Come on.
And then it's like, I'm just being honest. Can I just be transparent?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have time.
Oh.
He said, I don't have time to talk to you. Because I was just like, it's almost like writer's block sometimes. You're in the office, some of y'all don't know. But you're in the office, and you're like, okay, God, I don't get it. What do you want me to do? What? I've preached everything in that Bible. There's nothing left to preach. And then, well, I'm just being honest. Okay? And it's just really cool how it works. And I don't know how to explain it to you if you don't know. But it's really cool how it works. It's just like all of a sudden when I get quiet and still and I'll walk through the church and I'll pray. And I'll go sit back in my desk and say, okay, God, what? What am I saying? And it's unbelievable how a presence envelops that room.
Praise
Right.
God.
It's just, I mean, listen, it's nothing but a room. It's a closet, okay?
Right.
It's just nothing. It's just wood and brick and an old desk and books. It's nothing special. But it's special when God invades that room.
Yes, praise God. Yes.
And I can't explain it.
Hallelujah.
I can't describe it to you. It's indescribable. If you've ever heard the song Indescribable, listen to it. It's an old song now, but listen to it. I don't know how to tell you what that's like. My wife will never have to worry about me cheating on her because there's no high like that.
Right. Amen.
It's God's presence.
Right.
Amen. Yes. Thank you,
My wife will never have to worry
Jesus.
about me being a drunk. I'll never get a DUI because I will not give that up for this.
Right. Amen.
Amen.
Come on.
Yeah, she'll never have to worry about me being addicted to drugs because there's no drug that gives me what I get.
Amen. Yes, thank you, Jesus. Praise God.
And I wish that I could explain it to you, but I just can't.
Amen.
And so,
Yes,
so when I
praise
tell
God.
you these things, I preach better than I govern.
Right.
I just do.
Come on.
And I'll tell you that God, His presence in my life is the most important thing to me.
Yes.
And His presence in my church is the most important thing to me. And
Praise
I don't want
God.
to
Thank you,
compromise
Jesus. Yes.
that, ever. And so when I tell you things, it's not because I read it in a book, and it's not because I thought somebody's cute little story, and I'll give them credit if I use a little cute little story. But I'm not going to tell you something that God didn't lay on my heart to tell you. But as they were watching these things, I think sometimes that we get so jaded.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to say some stuff. Don't get angry with me. Okay? But some of you have more faith in your doctor than you have in Jesus.
Amen.
And I'm not telling you not to go. I'm not telling you not to go to the doctor. I'm not telling you not to take. Well, I'm not telling you that. But many of us will take drugs that we have no idea what's in them, no idea where they were manufactured, no idea what they do. We're just told we have to take them, and by faith we take them that we're going to get healed. Okay, I'm not saying anything about that. Take your medication. Do that. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is this, that sometimes we have more faith in what a person, because it's actually doing something. We can feel it. It's tangible.
Right.
And so it's like we're doing something. And I'm not telling you not to take your blood pressure medicine. I'm not telling you not to take your stuff that God has given us wisdom to have. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is this. Give God a chance.
Yes. Amen. Yes.
Let faith work in your life. Let God work in your
Yes,
life.
God.
Fight that struggle of everything I see. How do you feel in your gut? How do you feel in your heart? I still believe that God gives us direction.
Amen. Yes. Thank you,
I
Jesus.
still believe that God is speaking to the spirit of men and women. Don't go there. Don't
Amen.
go there. Don't
Yes.
go there. Don't go there. And you go there and it all falls apart and you wonder why. But inside God's screaming, I told you not to go there.
Amen. Yes.
And we don't follow our faith. We follow what our eyes say or show us. Back to my story.
What's up, brother?
He began to undo what had been done to Lazarus. In John 11:22, it says this. This is Martha saying to Jesus. Let's go to 21. Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. Jesus, if you just been here, why didn't you show up? He wouldn't have died. Here's the qualifier. If you ever see the word but, anything that came before that doesn't matter. you know, you're really nice, but
Right. Come on.
you are so special, but I can't stand you. Okay? I mean, everything that happened before the but doesn't matter when there's a but.
Right.
Okay, and so listen, verse 22 says this, but I know even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask God, God will give it to you.
Amen. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
That sounds like to me a lady
Yes.
who was still trusting
Oh, hallelujah.
that Jesus was going to take care of the situation. Now, she didn't have any idea how he was going to take care of the situation. Look at me, look at my nose. He had no idea how he was going to take care of the situation. All she knew was, I know him intimately. I trust him. I believe that he's the Son of God. I believe he can do whatever he asks, God will do it. I believe that. And so, do you really have that inside of you? That no matter what
Yes, thank you, Jesus.
Jesus
Thank
asks,
you,
God will
Jesus.
do
Yes,
it?
God. Yes.
Come on, do you really have that
Yes,
inside
Lord.
of you to know that even though my eyes are showing me this and there's no way out,
Thank you, Jesus.
God can do something and Jesus will show up and Jesus will take and transform my life. I don't know what he's going to do. I just know he's going to do something. He's not going to leave me in the same condition
Amen.
that he
Yes,
found
thank you,
me in.
Jesus.
Come on, just a
Praise your
minute.
holy
Listen,
name. Yes.
and so Jesus began to undo what men had done to Lazarus. What are you talking about? This is what he did. He said, remove the stone. The last thing they did was put the stone on. I'm going to start with the last. Remove the stone. Here's where all the faith came in, right? Oh, surely by now he stinks.
Right. Come on.
Thank you,
He's been in there
Jesus.
4 days. Surely by now he stinks. He called him by name. Because they had put a grave marker, Lazarus. And then they put the date. Whatever. When he died. Jesus had to call him by the name they had called him at death to bring life. Called him by name, announcing his authority over death. Lazarus. He woke him up
Yes,
out of
thank you,
a
Jesus.
dead sleep.
Thank you, Jesus. Yes,
He
praise
woke
God.
him up.
Ooh, hallelujah.
Lazarus. That voice must have thundered
Right.
in that
Praise
grave.
God. Praise God.
Lazarus, come forth. And out of the dark into the light. From what would seem to be impossible to the possible. To what seemed to be from nowhere to somewhere. What seemed to be out of the ordinary to now he's amazing and he's brought back into the ordinary. Out of death into life. And then he says to them, loose him and let him go. Remove the things that bind him at his death. And so they unwound the things that was along Lazarus' life. And all of a sudden now Lazarus is a living testimony of what Jesus will do.
Yes.
If I win the battle of faith and fear.
What a mighty God. What a mighty God.
Fear is a devil.
Oh, yes.
Fear is a devil.
Yes.
Jesus.
Anxiety.
Come on.
Yes,
Anxiety. It cripples you.
Yes. Come on.
oh,
Drags you into a
hallelujah.
tomb. And it shuts a slab door over the top of it. And it binds you head and foot with a napkin over your face. And you can't see any way out.
Right.
Oh, praise
And
you.
then all of a sudden you hear your name.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I don't know
Thank
if
you,
I'm preaching to the right church or not. But all of a sudden, all I know is the God who created all things knows my name.
Yes. Oh, praise your holy name.
He doesn't say, hey you, the dude with the sweater that's sweating like he stole something. He doesn't say, hey you, preacher boy. He doesn't say, hey you, Nance kid. He doesn't say, hey you, yeah, Roger's cousin. He doesn't say, hey you,
Oh, praise your holy name.
the
God.
guy who used to be whatever. He says, Jeff, come forth.
Oh, praise God. Yes.
Even in my fear, even in my anxiety, even in my depression, even when I don't feel like it, even when I don't know if I'm the right person to be here or not, even when I feel like I don't know what's going on in my life and it's out of control, all it takes is a Jeff
Yes.
from the voice and the Spirit
Thank
of
you,
God.
Jesus. Yes, God.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, hallelujah.
To calm all my
Yes.
fears and to understand that He loves me no matter how much I have fallen or failed. As I walked around this church and I cried out to God and I said, God, I'm the least likely. I don't deserve this. I don't, listen, I heard Stephen Furtick say this the other day and it really resonated with me. He said, I don't want what I deserve from God.
Amen.
He said, I don't even want God to be fair to me. You understand what fair means? You get what you deserve. And it resonated with me. I thought, oh my goodness, what a great statement. I don't even want God to be fair to me. I want God's grace in my life. I want God to move in my life. I don't understand. I really don't, guys. I don't get it. I don't get it. See, you guys don't know me like I know me. You don't know where I've been. You don't know. You don't know where God brought me from. You don't have any idea. You don't understand how I grew up. And my wife and I have grown so much closer in the last, 2 or 3 months. And I don't know what that's all about, but God's just really doing some things in our marriage. And it's just really cool.
Praise God, yes.
We've talked more about stuff in the last few months than ever before. And just the way I grew up, but I didn't even know it was jacked up. I didn't know. I thought everybody's grandpa was threatening to kill people. I didn't know. You guys laugh, but it was true. I just thought that's how people grew up. I didn't realize it was homicidal at my grandpa's house. I didn't know. That's just how I grew up. I didn't know that stuff went on and growing up that was out of the ordinary. I didn't know that. I just didn't have a clue. Stuff that my cousin and I laugh about now, it really wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny now because we got through it. It's just crazy. I'm almost done, I promise. Martha and Mary, their eyes showed them death. But Jesus showed them life.
Amen. Yes, thank you, Jesus.
They watched in horror as the breath left Lazarus. They watched as this can't be happening. Jesus is coming. This can't be happening. I'm going to ask you a few questions. What are you watching on television? People suited up in hazmat suits. Everybody's going to die. The whole eastern seaboard is going to be wiped out. 12 billion people are going to, it's just nuts. And we consume that and consume that and consume that. And I'm not telling you not to be careful. Don't go out here licking doorknobs and stuff. It's stupid. Well, God said I'll pick up any damn thing. What did he say? Okay, so we have to. I'm going to have to preach on that too, right? What did he say? Don't go drinking Clorox to try to clean out your system. I mean, come on. Are you kidding? Okay, don't be doing something stupid. But hear me. Hear me. What are you consuming? What are you consuming?
Right.
Oh, praise
what is infiltrating you? Or what are you watching? And what is Jesus saying? What is your gut saying? Let me just share something with you. And I think I touched on this the other day, but can I share this with you? That the news media is not about telling you the news. They're about ratings.
Amen.
And you can get mad at me if you want to.
Thank you.
Because channel 4, 5, and 9, whether you know this or not, are in competition with each other.
Yes. Yes, they are.
That's right.
I like
So
more better.
how they can scare you and get you to watch, they'll do it.
Yes, they will.
Well, the Ogles wouldn't do that. Yes, they will. Because they get paid to read what's on that teleprompter.
That's right.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. So the news media will show you what they want you to see. But what does your spirit say?
Amen. Yes, thank you, Jesus.
Don't get mad at me because I said something about that. Use your brain.
Amen.
God gave you a brain.
Amen.
Use it. Okay? 6 of us are using it. Great. What's going to be enough? What does your spirit say? Does your spirit say this? Just one more roll. the water. One more. One more. I gotta be prepared. I gotta have a fort. I've gotta have everything. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being prepared. Didn't say not to be prepared. Didn't say not to wash your hands. I told you last week, some of y'all ain't shaking your hands anyway, because I go to the bathroom after you've been there, there's no water in the sink, and there's no paper towel in the trash can, so I know you didn't wash your hands, and you're nasty. I ain't shaking your hand anyway.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
Absolutely. It's the same. Socialism. God knows.
So don't freak out and don't panic.
It's like my son.
Just do what I know your eyes are showing you all this stuff, and they're bombarding us with all this stuff. I get it. And it's hard not to be on edge. And it's hard not to worry and panic. Especially when you see everybody else running and panicking. Can I just share one more thing with you, and I'll leave you alone, I promise. Normally the crowd goes the wrong way.
Right.
Yes, amen. Yes. I just walk along.
Normally the crowd's going the wrong direction.
Yes, God.
Stop what you're doing, take a breath, and take it in your surroundings and look what's going on around you.
Right.
Before you just follow the crowd. I've never been a crowd follower. Not a crowd follower. Don't like the crowd. The crowd irritates me. Because they do stupid things.
One way or the other.
What does your spirit say?
Oh, praise your holy name, God.
What does your spirit say? Does your spirit say you're going to die, or does your spirit say you're going to live?
I'm a living.
My spirit says I'm going to live. I'm
living.
going to be okay.
Yes.
The Bible says it this way. Jesus said it this way. Our friend Lazarus is asleep. Not dead,
Amen.
but asleep. And I have to go wake him.
Thank you, Jesus.
And the disciples didn't understand what he was saying, and he had to explain it to them, and he told them he was dead, but it was for the glory of God. How does God get glory? Many people believed because Lazarus came out of the grave. Now let me ask you a question. The person that got messed around the most in this situation, Lazarus.
Right.
Because he had to die again. He had 2 funerals.
Right.
Yes.
He had 2 death dates.
Right.
He had to go to heaven twice.
Amen.
Oh, hallelujah.
He got called out, called back. The person that got cheated the most was Lazarus.
Right.
But was it worth it?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Amen.
as what we perceived to be death became life, people believed on Jesus because of what they had seen with their eyes. We're supposed to be faith people.
Yes.
We're supposed to
Yes.
believe in what God tells us.
Yes.
Amen.
We're not supposed to walk by sight, but walk by
Faith.
the hard part
Yes.
is
Hallelujah.
I have these things called eyes. I have 4 of them. 4 eyes. You guys get it? Okay. Right. I forgot that's bullying now. Okay, so anyway. Some little kid go to prison for 6 years for calling somebody 4 eyes. So, hear me. Hear me. Calm down.
Amen. Yes.
What does your spirit say? Be cautious, of course. Wash your hands, nasty, of course. Wash your hands. Okay? Do that. Don't touch your face, Jeff. I mean, I'm the worst when I drive. I bite my nail. My thumb. Slap my thumb and my finger. It's crazy. Okay, I'm having to like slap my own hand. It's just crazy. And so, but don't do things stupid. But do things without being crazy. Understand this. No matter what you're walking through, He will breathe life to you.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Listen. Anxiety, depression, fear, all that stuff is just a trap to get the devil to have a stronghold in your life.
Right.
As long as he's got you in the tomb, you're not doing anything.
Right.
But when he came out of the tomb is when the glory came. The tomb holds the glory, but we have to get out of the tomb for the
Jesus.
glory.
Yes, God.
Amen.
Oh, hallelujah.
With me?
Amen.
Got me?
Yes.
All right, stand your feet.